One dead, two injured at wake in Clarendon. A man was shot and killed, while two others are nursing injuries following a shooting at a 9 in Tollgate, Clarendon, Thursday night. The deceased has been identified as Michael Vassar of a Manchester address. It is also understood that he was also a resident of England in the United Kingdom. According to the police, the victim and several other people at a 9 in the area when they were pounced upon by gunmen who opened gunfire. Vassar received gunshot wounds to his head and upper body and was taken to the Mapen Hospital where he was pronounced dead. The other two men, a 41-year-old from Manchester, received injuries to his shoulder, and the other, a 49-year-old man, who is of a Clarendon address, received leg injuries. The injuries are not considered life-threatening. One loaded Glock magazine with 10 9mm rounds were discovered at the scene. Superintendent Carlos Russell, who was on the scene, made an appeal to the public urging individuals with information regarding the shooting to come forward. We are asking anyone who has information about the perpetrators of this murder to contact the Clarendon police. The other two persons are still receiving treatment at hospital. The motive is not yet known, but our detectives are still on the ground conducting investigations, he noted. St. Anne farmer killed during fight, brother taken into custody. The St. Anne police have launched an investigation into the death of a man who was allegedly killed during a fight with his brother in Cascade District in the parish. The deceased has been identified as Lenbert Allen, otherwise called Harry, a 48-year-old farmer of Cascade. It is reported that about 1:40 p.m. on Thursday, Allen and his brother had a dispute over money. The dispute developed into a physical tussle, during which Allen was reportedly stabbed with a metal pipe. The police were summoned to the scene and Allen was found lying on his back in a pool of blood. His brother was taken into custody on suspicion of the murder. Businesswoman on cocaine charges fined more than $200,000, avoid prison term. A corporate air businesswoman who was held with more than 2 pounds of cocaine at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston in September 2022 pleaded guilty and was fined a total of $245,000 when she made her appearance at the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Tuesday. Tashika Grant was fined $15,000 for possession of cocaine and $230,000 for attempting to export cocaine, a sentence considered lenient after her lawyer argued that she was forced into carrying the drugs by unknown men who threatened and sexually assaulted her. The charges of conspiracy to export cocaine and dealing in cocaine were dismissed. In handing down the non-custodial judgment, Senior Parish Judge Laurie Ann Cole Montague, recalling the evidence presented in the case, said that while the offenses against Grant were serious, she took into consideration what the defendant had been through. Grant's lawyer, in their request for leniency, reminded the court of his client's good character, outlining that before the infraction, she had no run-ins with the law. He shared that his client was under constant surveillance by unknown men who threatened to harm her if she did not comply with their request to transport the drugs. He said that in fear for her life, Grant felt she had no other choice but to do as she was told. Grant was reportedly about to board a flight to Florida on September 1, 2022, when she was searched by security personnel and the cocaine weighing more than 2 pounds discovered. Employers Federation welcomes minimum wage increase while noting that majority of the workers are already being paid more. President of the Jamaica Employers Federation, Wayne Cheng, has welcomed the increase in the minimum wage, even as he knows that the majority of workers are being paid more than this amount. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement that as of June 1, the national minimum wage and that for industrial security guards moved to $15,000 for 40 hours per week. He said the increase is to offset the impact of inflation. Meantime, the president says companies offering the minimum wage are finding it hard to attract workers. He says increased economic activities, among other things, will lead to a sustainable rise in wages.
We welcome the minimum wage increase, and we will say the vast majority of Jamaican workers, given the record low unemployment that the country is currently experiencing and the increased demand and shortages of workers, we would want to point out that the vast majority of Jamaican workers are already ahead of the newly announced minimum wage. Enterprises that are advertising at that rate are finding very low levels of success in attracting workers. So the minimum wage is actually representing now the bottom end of the reality that is out in the job market today. What will really cause a sustainable rise in wages is productivity growth and increased economic activities, which means more competencies and skills, better management and leadership, more efficient infrastructure, and the introduction of more technology as we digitally transform our organizations and the country overall.
PNP concerned about lack of consultation on the minimum wage increase. The opposition People's National Party says unilateral decision by the government to raise the minimum wage is deeply concerning. On Thursday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced that the national minimum wage is to be increased from $13,000 to $15,000 for a 40-hour work week, effective June 1, 2024. The minimum wage for industrial security guards is to move from $14,000 to $15,000 per week. However, in a media release on Friday, the PNP said that the decision was made without consulting the Minimum Wage Advisory Commission or stakeholders. The PNP said while it is committed to advocating for a livable wage for all Jamaicans, the way the increase was decided on failed to ensure that minimum wage reflects the various factors affecting the working public's quality of life, including the cost of living and inflation. The PNP firmly believes that consultation with stakeholders must be the standard practice in determining minimum wage adjustments. Without such consultation, there is a risk that political tactics and expediency may drive government decisions regarding the minimum wage, potentially neglecting the true needs of the working population, the party argued. We welcome any relief that improves their lives, given the economic conditions we currently face, the PNP continued, but said any decision regarding the minimum wage must be made with careful consideration of all relevant factors. The PNP is urging the government to prioritize consultation with stakeholders in future decisions regarding the minimum wage. Kate, Princess of Wales, says she has cancer. Kate, the Princess of Wales, said Friday she has cancer and is undergoing chemotherapy. The video announced came after weeks of speculation spread on social media about her whereabouts and health since she was hospitalized in January for unspecified abdominal surgery. Kate, 42, has been seen publicly since Christmas until video surfaced this week of her with her husband, Prince William, heir of the throne, walking from a farm shop near the Windsor home. Kensington Palace had given 3 little details about Kate's condition, beyond saying it wasn't cancer-related, the surgery was successful, and recuperation would keep the princess away from public duties until April. The news is another shock from the royal family since the announcement last month that King Charles III was being treated for an unspecified type of cancer that was caught while undergoing a procedure from a brain enlargement prostate. Charles, 75, was withdrawn from public duties while he was cancer treatment through his appearance frequently in photos carrying on meetings with government officials and dignitaries, and it was even going to church. Kate, on the other hand, has been out of view, leading to the week of speculation and gossip. Attempts to put rumors to bed by releasing a photo of her on Mother's Day in the UK surfaced by 3 smiling children backfires when the Association Press and other news agencies retracted the image because it was being manipulated. Kate issued a statement the next week acknowledging that the experience was editing and apologizing for any confusion the photo has caused, but that did not quell the speculations. Incomplete file, delaying ruling on further charges in SSL case, stated DPP. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, ODPP, has clarified that it has not made a ruling on whether further charges should be laid in the Stocks and Securities Limited SSL fraud case because it is still awaiting outstanding documents from the Financial Investigations Division (FID). This week, opposition leader Mark Golding suggested the office was dragging its feet in relation to the delivery of a ruling. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark later stated that he was confident that the office will make a ruling very soon. However, in a media release on Friday afternoon, Director of Public Prosecutions Paula Llewellyn said that there are outstanding documents which are beneficial that have not yet been obtained from the Fed investigators. She said the first set of documents in the case were submitted to her office in November 2023. She said since then, the office and the Fed had meeting to discuss the file and provide guidance to the investigators in relation to the outstanding material. The last set of documents received from Fed was on March 6, 2024, and thereafter, a meeting was arranged for the end of March to discuss other materials submitted thus far, the DPP stated. She revealed that the file is comprised of over 3,000 pages of documentary material. She said each time additional material is submitted, the four-member ODPP team has had to review the file in its entirety, making assessments about what material is outstanding, which offenses may arise, and whether the office will be able to mount a verbal prosecution based on the material. The ODPP prides itself on providing proper, accurate advice on prosecution outcomes resulting from appropriate assessments of the circumstances and the law in all matters. It is never advisable to prepare a ruling, especially in matters of this nature, based on incomplete file, the DPP stated. She added that it is imperative that we have sufficient material which meets the evidentiary threshold as a matter of law to prove all the elements of each offense while establishing a nexus between the offenses and the offender behind a reasonable doubt. The DPP said her office reserved the right to independently make its assessment in a timely manner depending on the circumstances and the availability of the evidentiary materials. We therefore look forward to completing our ruling in this matter and communicating advice to the Fed, who would subsequently communicate these findings to the public at an appropriate time of their choosing given the sensitivity of these investigations and the possible consequences of our advice, Llewellyn stated. The DPP said, while the case has attracted a high public interest, her office is not at liberty to publish any further details of its discussion with the investigators. The fraud was reported on January 10, 2023, and only one person, Jean Panton, a former client relationship manager, has been charged. In August last year, the Fed told the country that other people will be charged in the case in the upcoming months. The SSL fraud had ballooned past US $30 million, or approximately Jamaican $4.7 billion, with more than 200 client accounts impacted. Sports legend Usain Bolt is among those affected. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.